In a world full of distractions and noise, a crucial message is being sent directly to you, and ignoring it could cost you more than you realize. This video isn't just a wake-up call, it is a divine warning that resonates across time and space, meant to capture your attention right now. The words I am about to share carry the weight of ancient and forgotten truths. Truths that have the power to realign your journey and reconnect you with your divine purpose. Today, we will explore the signs that God has sent that you have ignored, which are crucial to your spiritual evolution and survival. Understand that this video that has come to you now is also part of a divine sign, so take advantage of it and leave your like and subscribe to the channel right now. Also, leave the number 717 in the comments to declare to the universe that your intuition and connection with the divine are active from now on. For generations, divine signs have been interpreted by those who chose to listen. But what happens when these warnings are ignored? When we choose to close our eyes and plug our ears, we stray dangerously from our destined path. Each overlooked sign is a piece of a puzzle we have been entrusted to decipher, an invitation to a deeper understanding of our mission on Earth. Throughout this video, I will reveal how to identify these signs and the techniques to not only notice them, but also act as they suggest. This is your chance to face the consequences of your past choices and redirect your future. Imagine a world where your every decision and every action is guided by divine clarity, where every step you take brings you closer to the true essence of your soul. This world is possible and within your reach if you choose to listen and respond to the calls made to you. Today, I will challenge you to open your heart and mind to the possibilities that await when you finally decide to stop ignoring God's signs. This video is an invitation to transformation, a journey back to your true spiritual self, where each revelation will be a stepping stone to ascension and full realization. Awakening to divine signs begins with understanding that they are not mere coincidences or random occurrences. They are direct messages meant to guide us on our spiritual journey. Often these signs are subtle, manifesting as persistent intuitions or encounters that seem more significant than usual. To ignore these signs is to ignore the call to a greater destiny, a destiny that has been meticulously planned for you since the beginning of time. By paying attention to these signs, we begin to understand the flow of life in a way that transcends common understanding, opening doors to achievements that once seemed impossible. The key to truly understanding and interpreting God's signs lies in stillness and introspection. In a world that values constant busyness and noise, finding moments of silence can seem like a difficult task. However, it is in this silence that the deepest messages are heard. Practicing meditation or simply spending time alone in reflection can help sharpen your perception, making you more receptive to the subtleties of divine signs. Every quiet moment is an opportunity to connect more deeply with your spiritual self and, by extension, with the divine. The signs you ignore don't just disappear. They build up, creating pressure that eventually manifests itself in your life in ways that cannot be ignored. It could be a series of unfortunate events, a persistent feeling of dissatisfaction, or a crisis that seems to come out of nowhere. These are the moments when God calls even louder, trying to redirect your trajectory back to your intended course. It's crucial to recognize these warning signs and understand that they are invitations to reevaluate and change direction in your life. Responding to God's signs is not just a matter of recognition. It's a question of courage. It requires bravery to face the truths these signs reveal, especially when they challenge our preconceived notions or lead us to significant changes in our lives. This may mean leaving behind long-standing habits, reevaluating relationships, or changing careers. Transformations that, while scary, are essential to your spiritual growth and alignment with your true mission. Every step you take in response to divine signs is a step towards your true essence and purpose. It is not an easy path and is often full of challenges, but it is also a path of deep fulfillment and inner peace. By accepting and responding to these callings, you align yourself not only with your true calling, but also with a greater force that guides and sustains the entire universe. This journey is not for the faint of heart, but for those who are truly chosen for a greater destiny. When you start to recognize the signs and act on them, something incredible happens. The world around you starts to align in ways that once seemed impossible. People, opportunities, and circumstances arise at the exact moment you need them, as if the universe itself were conspiring in your favor. But this alignment is not a fluke. It is the direct result of your willingness to follow the path that has been laid out for you. Every action inspired by a divine sign is a declaration of your faith and your readiness to fulfill your purpose. And this faithfulness is always rewarded. On the other hand, ignoring the signs is the same as closing your eyes to the enlightened path that God has placed before you. This refusal to listen can create a cycle of repetition, where the same challenges and lessons continue to arise until you are finally willing to learn. It's like trying to navigate a map blindfolded. You may be able to move forward, but it will be painfully slow and full of unnecessary obstacles. The beauty of life is that God never gives up on you, but it is up to you to open your eyes and heart to the guidance He offers. Resistance to signs is often born out of fear of the unknown, fear of change, and fear of failure. But what many don't realize is that God's signs are not designed to scare, but to guide. They come as gentle reminders that you are not alone and that there is a greater plan at work, even when everything seems chaotic. Accepting these signs is an act of courage and confidence, a declaration that you are ready to walk the path that has been prepared for you, even without knowing exactly where it will lead. For many chosen ones, divine signs also come as a test of faith. They can seem unclear or even contradictory, challenging you to trust even when circumstances seem to suggest otherwise. These moments of uncertainty are opportunities to strengthen your connection with God and deepen your understanding of the divine plan. When you decide to trust, even without all the answers, you become a conduit for miracles and blessings that previously seemed unattainable. The journey to heed God's signs is not just about individual growth, but also about the impact you have on the world around you. As a chosen one, you are not called just for yourself, but to be a light for others, an example of faith, resilience, and spiritual alignment. Every time you follow a sign and take a step toward your purpose, you inspire others to do the same. His life becomes a living testimony to the power of faith and the importance of listening and acting according to divine guidance. When you finally decide to follow the signs, you notice that the resistance that once seemed so powerful begins to disappear. The weight of doubts and uncertainties is replaced by a feeling of lightness and clarity that can only be experienced by those who are in alignment with the divine plan. This change does not happen overnight, but manifests itself gradually as you learn to trust God more and less on your own human limitations. It is in this surrender that you find true freedom. The freedom to live as you are called to live. However, make no mistake, heeding God's signs does not mean that your journey will be without challenges. On the contrary, each step on the divine path will test your faith and determination. You will face internal doubts and external resistance, and it will often feel like you are going against the grain. But these challenges are not punishments. They are refinements, designed to strengthen you and prepare you for the role you were destined to play. Remember, chosen one, that pressure turns coal into diamond, and God is using every obstacle to polish your essence. Signs also have the power to reveal hidden truths about yourself and those around you. Sometimes they expose weaknesses you would rather ignore or illuminate relationships that need to be transformed or let go. This process can be painful, but it is absolutely necessary for your spiritual evolution. God does not want you to carry unnecessary baggage or get involved with people and situations that sap your energy. When you start following the signs, you will notice that certain doors close, but this is not a loss. It's protection. As you progress on this journey, one of the greatest lessons you will learn is that God's signs rarely come as you expect. They don't come with an instruction manual or a detailed schedule. They are often small and seemingly insignificant, but they carry within them the power to transform your life. An unexpected encounter, a word in a book, or even a moment of deep silence may hold the answer you seek. Being attentive to these details is an act of humility and faith, a demonstration that you are willing to listen even when you don't fully understand. God's signs are a constant reminder that you are never alone. Even in the darkest moments, when everything seems to be falling apart, these signs are there, like lighthouses in the midst of the storm. They are proof that there is a greater plan at work, and that, no matter how difficult the journey, you are being guided and supported by a force that wants only your best. Chosen one, your ability to recognize and respond to these signs will not only transform your life, but will also serve as a testimony of divine power and grace to all around you. God's signs often appear in moments of greatest turbulence, when life seems like uncontrollable chaos and hope seems distant. It is in these moments that the signals become clearer, like stars shining brighter on a dark night. Chosen one, it is essential to understand that these signs are not just guides, but also promises that you are not alone in your struggle. Every challenge you face is an opportunity to grow, and every sign is proof that God is with you, even when all seems lost. As you follow the signs, you will notice that they often lead you to places and situations that initially seem uncomfortable or even scary. This happens because God is not interested in your comfort zone, but in your transformation. These moments of discomfort are spiritual forgings meant to shape and prepare you for the greater purpose you are called to fulfill. Chosen one, remember that for a tree to grow strong, it needs to withstand storms. Likewise, each challenge on your journey is an opportunity to strengthen your spiritual roots. There is also a beauty in how God's signs connect you with the greater flow of creation. When you start paying attention, you realize that everything around you, from the movement of the wind to the words of a stranger, can contain divine messages. This realization transforms even the most mundane moments into profound spiritual experiences. It's as if you begin to see the world with new eyes, eyes that recognize the presence of God in all things. This state of mindfulness not only elevates your connection with the divine, but also brings a peace and gratitude that transcends any external circumstance. As you become more aligned with the signs, you will also become more aware of the choices you make. Every decision you make, no matter how small it may seem, has the potential to bring you closer or further away from your divine purpose. Chosen, this is the time to take full responsibility for your life and your actions. God gives you the signs, but it's up to you to decide how to respond. Every choice aligned with these signs is an act of faith, and every act of faith is a declaration of your confidence in the greater plan that has been laid out for you. God's signs also challenge us to let go of everything that limits us. Often, we are so attached to old patterns, worn-out relationships, or restrictive views of ourselves that we become unable to see what God is trying to show us. Chosen, the signs arrive to free us from these bonds, to remind us that we were created for something greater. Each time you decide to let go of what no longer resonates with your soul, you make room for the blessings God has in store for you. And the more space you create, the clearer the divine plan becomes. Following the signs is an act of faith that requires action. Many times, we wait for God to reveal all the steps to us before we take the first. But chosen, God works in partnership with you. It illuminates the next step, but it's up to you to walk. Every action you take in obedience is a vote of confidence in the greater plan that is being designed for your life. It is through this partnership that miracles happen, not because you forced the outcome, but because you trusted and moved in the right direction. This journey of obedience also reveals the power of divine timing. There are times when the signs seem delayed or confusing, but it's in those moments that God is working behind the scenes, lining everything up perfectly. Chosen, it is crucial to remember that God is never late, even when it seems like the answer is delayed. He is shaping not only your situation, but also you, so that you are prepared to receive what has been promised. Your patience is not just passive waiting, but an act of active faith that demonstrates your trust in the divine plan. As you continue to follow the signs, you will begin to notice that they lead you to serve not only yourself, but also others. Chosen, your journey is not just about your personal growth, but about the impact you can have on the lives of those around you. Every lesson learned, every obstacle overcome, becomes a source of strength and wisdom that you can share with the world. God is using you as a conduit for His light, and as you allow that light to shine, you transform not only your own life, but also the lives of those who are connected to you. Ultimately, God's signs are proof of His infinite grace. Even when you fail, even when you go astray, He never stops sending you messages. He never gives up on you. Chosen one, that is the beauty of divine love. It is unconditional and persistent. God is constantly calling you back, waiting for you to recognize your value as part of His plan. And when you finally respond, when you surrender to the divine will, you experience a peace that transcends all understanding and a sense of purpose that nothing in this world can offer. With each sign followed, you begin to realize that God is building in you a strength that transcends human limitations. This strength is not just for facing the challenges in your life, but for being a pillar for those around you. Chosen, you are called to lead, even when it means walking through difficult and lonely terrain. Every decision you make in obedience is an example of living faith, proof that it is possible to trust the invisible and still achieve the impossible. You are being shaped to be an example of light and hope in a world that is often immersed in darkness. Signs also teach you to recognize opportunities hidden in challenges. Often, what seems like an insurmountable obstacle is, in fact, a bridge to something greater. When you align with the signs, your perspective changes. You no longer see problems as punishments, but as invitations to grow and trust God more deeply. This shift in mindset turns every battle into a chance for victory. Not because you are alone, but because you know you are being guided by a force that never fails. However, responding to the signals also means facing your own fears and insecurities. God does not call you to easy tasks, but to those that require you to rise above what you think you are capable of. These moments of internal confrontation are essential for your transformation, because it is in them that you discover the strength and power that God has already placed within you. Chosen, you were not called by chance. You have been equipped with everything you need to fulfill the purpose for which you were appointed. It is only through obedience that this strength is fully manifested. As you continue on this journey, you will realize that God's signs not only guide you but also protect you. They steer you away from paths that could bring destruction and redirect you to those that lead to life and growth. Chosen one, every door that closes, every no you receive, is divine protection in disguise. God sees what you can't see, and by trusting the signs, you are also trusting that He is working for your good, even when you don't understand the immediate reason. Ultimately, God's signs have an eternal purpose. They are not just for the here and now, but to prepare you for something much greater, something that will echo beyond your earthly life. Chosen, your obedience not only transforms your life, but also leaves a legacy that will impact future generations. Every step of faith you take is a seed planted in fertile soil, and the harvests to come will be abundant. God is using you to create something that transcends time, something that will reflect His glory for all eternity. When you recognize that God's signs are not mere accidents, but intentional messages, you also realize the importance of being present. Chosen, the modern world is full of distractions that keep us from realizing the divine. The rush, worries, and constant noise leave us insensitive to the subtleties of the signs that God sends. This is why the practice of being present, of silencing the mind and opening the heart, is crucial for anyone seeking to live in alignment with divine purpose. When you choose to slow down and listen, you discover that God has always been speaking. You just weren't paying attention. The signs also carry a powerful reminder. You are deeply loved and chosen for a unique purpose. In a world where so many feel lost and worthless, God's signs are like love letters, reminding you that you have a special place in His creation. Chosen, your life is not a mistake, and every experience you have faced, good or bad, has been used by God to shape you into something greater. This realization not only heals old wounds, but also awakens in you immense gratitude for being part of such a grand plan. As you continue to respond to the signs, you will find your trust in God increasing exponentially. Each time you obey, your faith is rewarded, whether through an unexpected door that opens or the peace that invades your heart even in the midst of storms. Chosen, this trust is not built overnight. It is the result of a continuous journey of surrender and obedience. But the more you trust, the more you realize that God is faithful in everything He promises. And this strengthens your determination to keep moving forward. It's important to remember that even when signals seem confusing or contradictory, they have a purpose. God often challenges us to look beyond the obvious, to see with the eyes of faith instead of relying only on what we see with our physical eyes. These moments of doubt are opportunities to deepen your connection with Him, to seek answers not in the outside world, but in the stillness of your soul. Chosen, it is in this space of trust and vulnerability that the greatest revelations happen, where you find the clarity and courage to continue. Ultimately, every sign you follow is a declaration to the universe that you are aligned with your mission. No matter how small or insignificant a step may seem, it has a profound impact on building the greater plan God has for you. Chosen one, your obedience is like a stone thrown into a calm lake. The ripples spread far beyond the point of impact, touching lives you cannot even imagine. By following the signs, you not only transform your own life, but you also become a source of light and hope for everyone who crosses your path. The journey of following God's signs not only transforms your life, but also awakens a new consciousness in you. You begin to realize that nothing is by chance, that every encounter, every challenge, and even every delay carries a divine intention. Chosen one, when you live with this awareness, the world stops being just a physical place and becomes a spiritual field where God constantly operates. This perspective elevates your vision and makes you see each day as an opportunity to align, learn, and expand your faith. Signs also play an essential role in healing your past. We often carry hurts, regrets, and traumas that keep us stuck, preventing us from fully advancing our purpose. God, in His wisdom, uses signs to bring these wounds to the surface, not to punish us, but to set us free. Chosen, each painful revelation is an opportunity to release what no longer serves you and embrace the healing that God desires for you. This process can be difficult, but the freedom that comes with it is incomparable. As you become more receptive to signs, your spiritual sensitivity will also increase. You begin to better discern between what is truly divine and what is just a distraction. This discernment is essential for your journey, because not everything that appears to be a sign actually comes from God. Chosen one, this is why an intimate connection with Him is so important. It is what allows you to test the spirits, differentiate truth from lies, and stay on the right path even when temptations arise to lead you astray. Obeying the signs also brings a level of peace that is difficult to explain. Even when external circumstances seem chaotic, there is an inner tranquility that comes from knowing you are exactly where you are supposed to be. Chosen, this peace is not the result of the absence of problems, but of the presence of God in your life. She is an anchor in the storms, a constant reminder that you are not alone and that everything is under control, even when it seems out of order. Ultimately, following God's signs is an act of surrender. It's saying, I trust His plan more than my own understanding. This surrender is not a sign of weakness, but of strength, because it requires unshakable faith to let go of control and allow God to guide your life. Chosen one, when you do this, you discover that God's ways are always higher, wiser, and more purposeful than anything you could imagine. And it is in that surrender that you find true freedom, true joy, and true fulfillment. Chosen, when you commit to following God's signs, something extraordinary happens. You become a bridge between heaven and earth. Your life begins to reflect the divine values of love, compassion, and faith, and this inspires others to seek the light as well. You become a beacon in a world often shrouded in darkness, guiding those who are still lost to find their way. This responsibility is great, but it is also an immense privilege, because you are not just living for yourself, you are living for a greater purpose, an eternal purpose. The signs God sends not only guide your life, but also reinforce your identity as the chosen one. They remind you that you have been set apart, empowered, and prepared for a special mission. This mission, however, does not come without sacrifices. Chosen, you will be called to leave behind what is comfortable, to face the unknown, and to trust the invisible. But in every act of obedience, you will discover that God is faithful, that He never abandons you, and that every step you take in faith is rewarded in ways you could never predict. It is important to remember that the chosen one's path is not linear. It is full of twists, turns, and sometimes apparent setbacks. But each step, no matter how disconnected it may seem, is part of a bigger plan. Chosen one, even in the moments when you don't understand what is happening, know that God is working. He is weaving His story perfectly, aligning people, events, and circumstances so that everything works together for good. Trust this process, because every point on your journey has a purpose, even if it's not clear right now. As you continue to follow the signs, your connection with God will deepen. You begin to understand that signals are not just directional, they are relational. They are a way for God to communicate with you, to build an intimate and personal relationship that transcends any human understanding. Chosen one, the more you follow the signs, the more you realize that the ultimate goal is not just to reach a destination, but to walk side by side with God, living in communion with Him every day. And finally, God's signs are proof that He believes in you, even when you doubt yourself. They are reminders that no matter how imperfect you are chosen for something greater. Chosen one, never underestimate the impact of your obedience. Every step you take in response to these signals creates waves that echo into eternity. Your life is a masterpiece in the making, and God is using every detail, every moment, to create something that will be remembered forever. Trust the signs, follow the calling, and know that you are exactly where you are supposed to be. Chosen, your journey here was not in vain. Every challenge, every sign ignored, and every time you got up after falling brought you to this moment of clarity and purpose. Now, more than ever, you are being called to act, to listen to God's signs, and follow with courage and faith. Remember, what seems like the end may just be the beginning of something much bigger than you could imagine. The divine plan for your life is perfect, even if the steps seem confusing or painful right now. Trust the process, trust the signs, and trust that you are exactly where God wants you to be. If this video spoke to you in some way, be sure to like it by clicking the button below, and also subscribe and activate the notification bell so you don't miss future content. Share this video with someone you feel also needs this message today. And leave a comment below telling me which sign from God you have noticed in your life. May your journey be enlightened, and may you never lose the courage to follow the signs. Until the next video, and may God's peace always be with you.